Hello, good evening, and welcome. And I think this is the second or the third one, 2024. Unusually nervous, which is a bit strange because I was looking back through some of my stuff that I've done over on Facebook. So I've been doing this now for about 5-6 years, where I used to sit downstairs and put my little wolf curtain up and have all my trinkets next to me. And the idea was tonight that it'd be a little bit more organised. I've included Facebook in this one, so welcome to anybody that's viewing this from Facebook, either now or later on if you watch the replay. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in from YouTube. I'm actually broadcasting from StreamYard, so if I don't recognise your comments on either thing straight away, that's because they're coming up here and I shall just plod through them. What I've also decided to do is just keep the pace at a level that I can actually deal with. Hi Leanne, hope you're well. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety just recently, so the good thing about working with spirit is all bets are off. Yeah, hi Sam. All bets are off when you're working with spirit, because whatever's troubling you, whatever's in your background, in your personal life, just pales into insignificance when you're working with air energy. And the thing that I've decided for this year is to not overanalyze and overthink. There's a lot of stuff that I'm having to process and flow through. Hi. Well, I tell you what, I'm not one of these for like keeping myself down and flat and things like that, but I've really not wanted to go out today. But the dogs don't understand that, do they? You know, they come and look at you, and when they know it's their walk time, that it's time for them to go for a walk. So before I get going, hope the audience build up a little bit, because I've got YouTube and Facebook on here at the same time. Facebook, I tend to get a lot of the idiots and the scammers coming on. So like I say, with every broadcast that I do, if anybody comes on here asking for your details, anybody offers free readings or sends you on any links, they are not me. They are not endorsed by me. I do not bother you with requests for readings. The only time I do free readings and free consultations is by this means. So if you can help me out by that, and you're generally pretty good on that with supporting me, if I don't notice them quick enough, please block, ban, and send them on the way. So let's keep sending. You see, we've got one on here already. So let me just figure out how I need to sort that one. Block user. There we go. We've got that one. When I was on last time, it was great because there was a button that says delete all of their comments. So brain doesn't switch off. Let me just. I'm going to do my best today. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play it by ear, because normally when I come on here and I get Facebook on, I get a little bit flustered. Not to do with the spiritual works, and I love doing that and doing my spiritual counselling and guidance, but I get flustered at the pace, because you say you straight on here, you get into doing readings and things like that, and then you get somebody on here that's instantly causing an issue. So I'm going to do my level best to keep an eye on both, but bear with me, because don't forget I'm a man and I'm not very good at multitasking. So great to catch up with you, listening into your reading message for guidance if you have. Right, we'll start with you again. Right, so how I'm going to do it tonight is I'm going more on the psychic. If spirit come in, then obviously I'll bring them through. Right, okay. Gaynor, can I just ask the personal question before we get going? Has mum passed to spirit, or has there been any issues with mum going on around you? Because I'm not sure. I always work with words. I'm just being a little bit mindful at the moment that I'm not fully processing at the moment. Can I just ask you that question if you're still there? Can you just confirm that for me? Right, thank you, bless you, thank you. I never want to be like jackbooted when it comes to grieving, but I just feel that mum's coming in and saying, you know, there's been difficult times, and there obviously is when somebody's passed away, and I never sort of make light of anything like that, but you do need to give yourself a big pat on the back, because there's been something as well in the background with somebody else's health or somebody else that you've been helping and caring for. And what my guides, and I believe what Mummy's bringing through with you, is time to recharge the batteries a little bit. We're talking about sort of slowing things down. So there's that element there of just saying, take it a little bit easy. You can't, I say this all the time to people, but I'm exactly the same, so I can hardly lecture people, but it's the thought of that you can't pour from that empty cup. You can't give everything until you give no more, because what tends to happen then is that your mind will start playing tricks on you, and it will slow you down. So it's like with me at the minute, I am suffering such bad anxiety, but the thing is, we have to keep going. So you look at, I look at it this way: non-essential services will be shut down. So anything that I don't really have to contend with, I'm not going to worry about. So there's lots of things going on around you, but just to say to you to just chill out. So what I'm going to do with you as well, Gaynor, is I've got three decks of cards, and what I'm going to do is just general read. So I've got my tarot cards that I read with at the shows. I have got my I've forgotten the name again. One card oracle reading, and then I've got me. My mind has gone absolutely blank there, and I've got my angel cards. So what I'm going to say to you is, pick a deck, pick what you would like to be read from, and we'll see what the cards comes up. So the message from Spirit is to just sort of slow the pace down a little bit and chill out a little bit, and realize that you are doing a lot better than you actually think. And it is okay to have off days. Okay. Perfection. I've written a lot about this just recently. Oh, apparently the cards are picking for you. Perfection is often sought, but very rarely achieved. So the cards I picked for you, this is what I love about this. I have this belief that when you tune into source power, God, whatever it is that you want to know it as, that your guides will bring through what's necessarily and put the tools on the table to actually help me give you a card reading there. So Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is two heads together. Right, it's two hearts beating as one. It's the emotional card. So in the sense of what we're already speaking about, Gaynor, the sense is leaning on the people that are closest to you, whether it be partners, whether it be friends, whether it be your loved ones, in that sense of pulling together. And when we're struggling for support or we're struggling for understanding, because one thing I have learned over these last few months is there is no hard and fast rules when it comes to grieving. Your emotions can be all over the place. Just when you think that you've got it together where you're coping with it, there's all sorts of other things that come in and knock you all over. So learning to deal with people that you can pour from the same cup, if that makes sense. So when you're feeling a bit flat, they can support you, and vice versa. I feel like there's questions coming in and around you as well about what a future path might involve. I think that's generalized with the energy at the moment, because I feel a little bit the same. There's all sorts of thoughts going through my mind about how I'm going to proceed. I love doing this. I love doing the readings at the shows, and I love doing the live stuff that I do, but my heart is in therapy. So it's wondering where I can expand on this. So while I've got the opportunity, I'm just having a look into everything. But the card that I've got for you on that is I've got the Hermit, right? And the Hermit for me is all about introspection. Now, I've always read this card in the same way, because what this card is when we split it down, we've got the beard there, which denotes an aging. We've got the staff there for support, and we've got the light. Put all of that together, and he stood on a narrow pathway, and he stood there in contemplation about how his pathway moves forward. And all I look at this with is like, sometimes we just need a little tweak. We're in the right ballpark. Just imagine that you've got a sat nav that's took you down the right street, but hasn't actually took you to the right door. So there's options around you to consider at this moment in time. Now, the change in the way that I read this used to be, it's all about introspection anyway, going withinwards and asking yourself the relevant questions, and then just making those decisions and going on the path. Now, what I didn't consider is that path is quite narrow. So we've got two things that we could focus on with that path. We could either focus on the fact that we're actually treading on that where we want to be and shining the light down that path, or we could focus on the narrowness. So my sense is there is to just withdraw a little bit, go within and consider your future steps carefully. And when you get going, just be as prepared as you can be, but be open to changes as that goes along. And what I'm being told is to just ebb and flow with that mind. I've just got this vision in my head at the moment of the open sea. I don't know if there's a connection around Norfolk or something like that, or the Norfolk Broads, but I'm bringing in boats and I'm bringing in this real gentle sort of bobbing energy that's coming in around you. So whoever's bringing that in, I just want to send their love and light to you. And just, I don't know whether we've got to take care of the throat as well at the minute. So I don't know whether we're a bit husky. So somebody's sending you a little bit of a toddy as well. Right, so let me keep going through here. I'd love a message if drawn. Right, let's go through there. Alison, I've got somebody just going through my head. I just feel like it's a gentleman's energy coming in there. And you know the program location, whatever it is called. Never watched it. I just remember the words going into my head. The sense is with you that we're talking about now confidence. My granddad always used to have this really strange saying that made me smile, but it says sometimes we just need to put a foot down with a firm hand. So in some sense or another, there is this need for discipline, either around yourself or around a family member, that just needs to be reminded just how things should be. No matter what's going on, no matter how upset things are or upskittled, there is no need to forget your roots, and there's no need to be tolerant of people that are not being polite to you or being a little bit disrespectful. So there is somebody there, I feel, that is loading up his boot for somebody down here. Hopefully it's just in motivation. It might be to just energetically move somebody out your way. So a couple of cards are dropped out for you, Alison, and I've got the 7 of Cups, which is all about choices. So when I see that card, I just think, right, so I'm going to go with my gut. The orange there is all about the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra has got two functions. It brings in that intuitiveness of what choices that you want to make, but it also gives you the opportunity to get rid of any waste crap products because it's around the gut area. So process and get rid of any old decisions, any old feelings, anything there that no longer serves you. But what this card also says is don't procrastinate for too long either, because it's one of those things that the opportunities may well be there presenting to you at this moment in time, and they're really useful choices. But if you procrastinate too long, by the time you've got your big girl pants on, and for those of you that have watched me many times, it's one of my favourite phrases, by the time you've got your big girl pants on, there's a fair likelihood that those choices may well have evaporated and we miss out. So it's cracking on with it. Right. Page of Wands. Now, I don't know what's going on around you in a practical sense. So wands are all about practicalities. The red is the root chakra. So it's the basis and the foundation of what we want to build on going forward into 2024. Pages for me are like the errand boys, the news bringers. So what are they going to bring? What news are they going to bring in? So news on a practical level. So this could be ideas and opportunities to change either job, career, business, your house, anything along that nature. But just keeping your eye open that if something's sort of come to an end, don't be fearful of it, because over what we're actually going to build is from that place of stability with what we know. We know that there's change coming in, and then we're going to build a bridge. And what the bridge is going to do is build the bridge over the fear till we get to this new area, this new arena, and then we can start making the appropriate changes. So I hope that makes a bit of sense for you. I always struggle with getting through January. Yeah, I can, Lady of the Lake. Absolutely, be my pleasure. So my energy's a little bit flattened, as I say, because I'm not operating at full bore at the moment, but I'm just doing my best. And do you know what? There's days, and I keep putting this out because I've done a lot of different work on my YouTube channel. So I set off with all of this this sort of energy, this vibration of like, I'm going to push through. And then there's one or two things happen that's not my confidence, but not what I originally started with. So I thought by this stage, the reputation would have built up and there would have been a few numbers and do you know what? I've come to the conclusion now that if I get one person on here that I can help make a difference to, or help point them in the direction or sow a seed, I'm happy. So dreams of monetization on YouTube, things like that. I'm just putting them on the back burner. I want to get as many people on here because I truthfully believe that the work that Spirit are giving me to do in regards to the healing and helping healers themselves heal and pass on my energy is going to be incredible this year. So I want to take as many people along with it as I can. So yeah, we'll just see what comes through. So January is always a difficult month for me as well, Lady of the Lake, purely because there's just not a lot going on. It's like you sort of focus on the bits that you've got to do and you get them out of the way. The weather's pretty much against you a lot of the time if you're in Wales, because it's cold and you get warm, you get comfortable, and then that sort of knocks your motivation a little bit. And then you might have, like I've had, where I've had bits of work that I was expecting to do towards the end of the month now being cancelled. So then it starts me questioning and going, and then what can I put in to replace it? And the problem is with my thinking patterns is when I get into that, I can be a bit maudlin. So I understand exactly what you're saying there about struggling to get through January. But at the end of the day, it's just another month, isn't it? You know, just know that some days getting through is just enough. So 2 cards that come out for you. All right, okay. So we've got the Ace of Cups. So cups, for those of you that view this regularly with me, we've got another intuitive decision or something there that's going to affect the heart and the emotions. Partnerships cards, what comes in with that? So it's one of those things about building building relationships. Now, when this card comes in for me, I see the word new coming in. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have an argument with your nearest and dearest. It could be something quite as simple as just going, right, 2024, I don't particularly make New Year's resolutions. I like to have ongoing maintenance all the way through, that if I see an issue, then I will make those changes as I go along, rather than wait until the end of the year and then forcing them into the next year, because for me that's procrastinating. But when we've got the cups coming in there, and which are all about the emotions, and the ace there, which is about the new beginnings, if we're on the lookout for a partner, then this is saying that somebody may well come along that I don't know, lights you up a little bit, and where it can go from a friendship, because it's only got the power of an ace, so it's not got quite a lot of energy, but it's enough to give you a start. It could be that those of you out there that have got partners and you maybe not married, or you're not with child or anything like that, that there's opportunities there to strengthen that relationship. But the one that always gives me the most heart when this card comes in is what I tend to feel with it is that it may be time to have a new relationship with yourself. Have you been a little bit downcast? Have you been a little bit sometimes it's insulting, that we insult ourselves. We don't stop ourselves quick enough in mid-flow when we're saying something negative about ourselves. So maybe it's just that element of needing a new relationship within yourself. And like with anything, any new relationship takes some building. So what I would say is, I'm still getting the sense with you, Lady of the Lake, that there's still some loose ends that need tying up from 2023 emotionally in your head, rather than saying literal things. So it's maybe just coming to terms with that, dealing with that, put in there. And then, like, if it's tomorrow and we feel like we're in a clear head space, the emotions are fairly settled, we've took a deep breath, we've got a big girl pants on, tomorrow can be January the 1st. The concept of what the date is and what the day is human. It's just a time management thing so that we know where we are. The soul isn't governed by those guidelines, so you can be whatever you want to be. I do sense around you as well that spirit are ramping up, because all of a sudden my ears have just gone, ooh, really like that. So start to look out for those signs, and look out about your spiritual journey as well, because there's almost an element of of restarting something. So there's something there that wants a bit of a look at, and to make those changes as and when you see fit. And we've got the 7 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Pentacles is an absolutely beautiful card there. And what that talks about is investment. So like we were saying there, it could be literally as an investment in the self. And what that comes in, it's about getting your money. So money, finances, riches, enrichment. And the new bit that was given to me by one of my fellow readers about non-material wealth. Now, non-material wealth, I can just briefly explain that, is all about things that you might invest in. So think about courses, think about things that you might want to do that will benefit you financially in the future. There's not going to be an immediate payoff. So that card of investment is saying, right, is there anything there that you want to do? Is there anything financially that you've got to have a look at? Is there anything there that you want to make changes? And what it says is invest your money wisely. Don't make any rash decisions. Don't go out of, it's not so much going out of your comfort zone, but don't go out of your knowledge zone, if that makes sense. And if you've got any doubts about something there that requires a lot of money, time, investment, or anything like that, then always do your research first, because spirit are not accountants. They will bring you the opportunities, but it's up to you to make those decisions which way they go. All of the card says is that to make sure that once you get through that particular position and things start to change financially, that you, like all good farmers do, they replant and they invest for what's going on into the future. So really, I think the appropriate part of that card for you, Lady of the Lake, is the investment in the non-material wealth aspect of it. So what you will do over the course of these next 6 months will start to pay off towards the end of the year. So I hope that makes sense for you. Let me just go through and make sure that we've not got any divs on here. I'm hoping that, right, we have. Right, let me just get rid of block user. I'm just checking, guys. And hopefully we can get these off. I do go through, but I've decided to just slow the pace down. To say I get a little bit agitated at times with it, but I've decided that ain't going to happen to me today. So when I was working on last time, it was brilliant, because say there was one that came up that just said get rid of all comments. So right, we've got rid of them. Get rid of that as well. Just bear with me, guys, because I'm saying I'm not putting any time frame on this. I'm not putting any thing on here. I'm just trying to clear up the comment, because the other thing that I've got, oh wow, there's lots of people on tonight that I've not heard from a while, so this is really nice. Right, let me just go back through my comments. So as I was saying, I am saying thank you to everybody, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. I've linked you both in tonight, and as I was saying at the beginning, I can only apologise for the spammers when they come in, and I hope they don't disturb your enjoyment. There isn't an effective way really of getting rid of them all. I do my level best, but I think we're all plagued with them at one stage or another. I'm tending to keep my focus on YouTube, but where my mind is at is I don't want to forget the people that have helped me build up to over 2,000 followers on Facebook. So tonight I thought I'd give it a chance. We'll stick us both on, and we'll see where we go with it. I say apologise a little bit about my delivery as well, because I say I'm not entirely in the right space at the moment, but this is my honest belief that when I'm working, I don't let outside influences come in. But there is that sort of knock-on effect there, that your energy can be a little bit dampened, shall we say. I mean, I'm always enthusiastic and I always love talking to you guys, and I love talking to spirit, but real life overtakes you sometimes. So for you, Michelle, so what we've got there, we've got another ace there, and we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Money, finances, riches, enrichment, and non-material wealth again. And what the ace talks about is that initial spark, that initial idea of maybe doing a new job, maybe doing a new project, a new business, some new idea that, I mean, it could even be a hobby that turns you a few quid over. But what this always says is to keep an eye out for the opportunities. And I'm just being told by a gentleman in the spirit world there as well, as time to stop letting the grass grow under your feet in some way or another. It's very and come on, very much I felt like my energy sort of came in with that, like I need to get myself adjusted and stop slouching, and he's just bringing in that sense of fun. It's a little bit, come on, let's get going, let's liven the pace up. So there's maybe something around you where there's been a little bit of a flat space for you in January as well, but I do get the feeling that there is spiritual upliftment as and around you. I don't know whether you've got grandkids or whether we're talking about a younger daughter or something like that, but I've just got there's deep joy to be had by sitting in their company because they've got some really good energy. And what I'm being told to tell you is that it's actually lovely to see that when they're up and about in some way or another, or their energy's a lot better than what it was. They, you know, talking about confidence, but I know with you that confidence can be a little bit sort of up and down, but say there's lots of energy being sent to you. And at the moment, I don't know whether you've had a bit of a turn on your ankle or something like that, right? Don't worry, because I don't do predictions, but there's a sense there that I'm hampered by something going forward. So if it's not that you've had that turn on your foot, it's talking about just like getting yourself moving forward. So there's just something there that's hindering you. So just take the leap of faith when it comes in. Always, always, always. It's all right me saying take the leap of faith, but that's the sort of part of the commentary. But I always say to you as well, make sure that you do your homework before you take any sort of investment or anything like that. You've also got the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups for me is the lady there that quite sensitive, but doesn't show it. Right, doesn't let anybody in unless she really, really has to. She's got that air of indifference about her, but she is anything but. She's just one of these that has been hurt once or twice. So when her energy is about, so for me, how I'm going to link that in with you, Michelle, it's just a period of recovery that you're going through emotionally. So we've got the cups there. The cups are all about emotions. She's in that sort of melancholy state. She's a little bit down, but she's not sharing it with anybody. So maybe there's just that sense of you needing to have a bit of communication with people and just letting people know that you're all right. And if you're not, then sit there and talk to your loved ones like we were saying in the earlier card. So just being told to pull you a card out of there. Yeah. See, I said to you about the foot there and the thing there. So there's resistance in there. So I don't know whether this is spiritually or whether this is in normal everyday life. Cut the chains. You know, life's too short to be whittling and worrying about anything really, because life just goes on, doesn't it? You know, relentlessly. It's one of those. It's kind of sometimes that you try and plan your way through life without offending anybody, without upsetting anybody, and it's you that ends up getting trampled on. So you might as well put in a good account of yourself. So a bit of a G up that coming in for you, and a bit of a push for you. So I hope that's okay for you. Hi Juliet, thank you very much for tuning in from YouTube there. Hi Jason, appreciate that. Margaret, there we go. Let me just keep an eye on my clock so I don't get too far behind with you guys. Oh, I've lost that one already. Then I've lost that battle already, right? So what I will do is, if you drift off, don't worry. If you come back, then it'll be under your name there. If you've asked for a reading, I'll get round as many as I can. As I say, I'm not at full pace at the moment, but I make no apologies for that. It's just the way it is at the moment. I just love being on here. So if you're on Facebook and you support my page, please go across and subscribe to my new YouTube channel, because there's lots of new stuff coming on there as I learn the technology on there. I'm looking at my spiritual counseling and expanding my it's like a chat show format and it's called In Two Minds. So it's helping people with mental health difficulties, talking about my personal mental health journey, talking about the spiritual side of things, where this guy that's in front of you now with the waistcoat on, everything's always all dandy with him. He brings in that light, that love, that upliftment, and knows a lot of stuff. Whereas I've been having to focus on the one, like pretty much like you other guys were saying, that you struggled to get through a couple of months because you've not been busy or you've been a bit flat or something like that. Well, that's who I'm having to contend with at the moment, because I'm not busy. So it's a lovely channel to be on, and it's a nice thing to have people that are around. So I don't want to get distracted by spammers and scammers and things like that. Right? Okay. So Margaret, right? I don't know a lot about you. I recognise your name, but that's about it. So I'm going to be very, very careful tonight about how I'm usually swearing or being a little bit too free with my words. So I'm just going to put this there, probably in the book phrase. We've got the 7 of swords there. Now, the 7 of swords involves an element of deceit or somebody being a little bit dishonest around you. And it's a card of like theft. So swords are all about thoughts. And I always see swords as, because the air of cutting through illusion. So maybe just that you've got somebody around you that is taking up too much of your thoughts, that's occupying your mind. The sense I get from you is that you're an empath and that you look after everybody else and you want everything to be just about perfect for them, but you put yourself quite a long way down the list. This is saying that inherently there are some people in this world that are dishonest. They are thievers of time. Some of them are thievers of oxygen. They just want to take. And the truth is, they're not bothered as long as they're getting the results from whatever their actions are. They know when we look at this, we see that they're going to be discovered, but they're not bothered. So they're just basically getting away with as much as they can do before the challenge on it. And this is where the blue comes in, because the blue is all about communication in the throat chakra. So even if it's a stern worded, come here, let's have a word and we'll structure your expectations going forward, or a clip round the ear, whichever's relevant. There's a gentleman in the spirit world that comes in for you that just, it's like this, blows you a load of kisses. And it's almost like a little bow to you and just goes, I'm still kicking around, still going strong. And he's talking about liking his walking. So I don't know whether that's relevant around you about being more mobile or getting out into nature, but it's just big deep breaths coming in around you and saying that, oh, okay. And there's just one or two frustrating thoughts I feel around you at the moment that maybe just need a few deep breaths before you do and let fly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good clear out that some people do need their thoughts structuring. Some people do need telling, and just not putting up with any BS. And then you've got the magician card there. Right, now I'm not cynical to a huge extent in regards to the tarot, but when I look at this, the magician basically brings in that magical element where he's holding everything in the palm of his hand. So when I give this card, I just go, right, I don't particularly believe in magic in its like it's put on telly and things like that, because I always think that there's a way around it. But magical timing, right, and divine timing, yes, that bit I do believe in. So now's as good a time as any to get your things in order, because if we look there, we've got the swords, which are the thoughts, we've got the cups, which are the emotions, and we've got the wands, which are your practical side of things, and the pentacles and the money and finances. So what this is saying is as good a time as any to have a good stock clear out, a good stock up and have a look, see whereabouts you are in life, and taking advantages of that good timing that and that good fortune. Because it's like with anything, when the Wheel of Fortune card comes in, it just says that whatever we're experiencing at this moment in time, then things change. So no procrastinating on, best fighting trousers on, and I hope that makes a little bit of sense for you. Right, let me keep going. So just keep going backwards and forwards here, just making sure that I'm getting rid of as many of these things as I can. Let me just have a look at that. I'm just trying to block user. Look at this. This just shows how dumb they are. Look. Inbox me right now. I've got a message for you. I've got one for you. Piss off. How's that? There's a message. Bit rude, and apologise for the language, guys, but you know, some people just don't get the hint, do they? So we will. I'm just going to see if I can do something here, because last time I was on, we managed to delete all comments, but it doesn't seem to be on tonight, so that's a bit of a strange one. Again, and I do get frustrated with it. I'll be honest, guys, because it fills up me line, and I get a bit distracted by it. But I'm determined not to do that. So I'm going to work through. If I've missed anybody, please let me know, because I want to get through as many as I can. But also, I don't want to block your enjoyment either too much. But it is something that I have to deal with, and this is why, truthfully, why I don't have Facebook, LinkedIn very often, because it very rarely, other than mind you saying that the other night I had one on that cursed me and told me that I was going to die horribly. Well, that didn't work, did it? That's where I start channeling my inner Rick Mail then. It's off. So, but you know, you just think with people, right? I'm on here to help promote spirit, upliftment, energetic healing, and they're on there to promote themselves. Well, that says to me, if you was promoting a business, if you was that good, then you would find a way of promoting yourself on your own rather than jumping on my back, who's a little sort of guy that's done the work here to establish the followers that I've got, and they know that I tell the truth. Go out there and build for yourself. But I doubt your integrity anyway, or you wouldn't have even have started on this sort of format. Right. Andrea De Freitas. Right. So you have got the moon. Now, the moon is all about illusions and deceptions. I always tell a story with the moon card that that for me, it's like your night terrors card. You know, when you wake up in the sort of middle of the evening and you're sweating and there's a bit of tension and a bit of, oh my God, what's happened? And it's all dark and it's all gloomy and a bit scary. And what you do, and what I used to do when I used to have these night terrors, was used to knock on mum's wall and say, I'm having them dreams again. And she just go switch the light on. So what this card for me is not making any big decisions at the moment until you've checked the full facts out, because what the moon talks about is sort of illusions and deceptions and not everything being true as you see it. So when we shine a light on it, it's like asking you to go and step into the shadows on a certain situation, not act rashly. Have a look at how things are actually presenting yourself in the cold light of day. There's a sense around, I mean, I'm feeling, I don't know, I've got another swords card, so this would probably make sense with it, why I was picking up that sort of need for, it's sort of negotiation around you. And when I say this, I don't want you to be sat there listening to all sides of a story. I want you to just consider your own actions, because when I've got swords about me, we've got the battle trousers on. And I sense this feeling of deadlock around you at this moment, because there's something there that it's like, I want to bring the elephant in the room to the fore and just go, right, this is not good. This is not working. Whatever it is that is the blockage there, and just go, right, how do we get past that? How do we deal with this? I always give people one opportunity to tell me the truth, even if it's not good news. Right, please tell me what is going on, and then I can act accordingly. But I cannot stand liars, cheats, and people being dishonest if I've given them that upfront opportunity. So if somebody comes back and they've done something to me, I'm not into what I call deathbed forgiveness. If we're done, we're done. And that leaves an impact. So there's this sense there when the next card comes in for you that the Six of Swords is about coming into calmer water. So if we place that as a now card of something that we've got to deal with, because something is not showing you itself in its true form, but there's going to be an impact when we open up and have a look into it and we shine the light into the dark. There's going to be a period there where we've got to recover from it. So over these next couple of weeks, whatever that clash is, whatever that sort of I don't know, like disagreement, maybe deadlock situation is, once it's done, turn round and, like I'm going to do now when something frustrates you a little bit, is have a big slug of tea. It breaks that state of behaviour in the minute, and right, are we ready to go again? So there's a sense there of collecting your thoughts, because I feel with you, March, April time, that is you're going to start to get busy with other things. So like I was saying to somebody earlier on, clear up any miscommunications, tie up any loose ends, and then as you go forward, right, and you've got to start believing in yourself as well a little bit more, Andrea. My guides are saying that, I don't know whether you've got a new guide coming in, or you're new to spirit or something like that, or whether you've experienced with the spirit world, but they're wanting you to step forward. So when I said that about shining the light on the moon card with the illusions and deceptions, the one thing that I always believe that you can trust in is the spirit world. They're telling me that you've got things there that are going to be looking up for you on that spiritual line. So have a good time exploring that pathway as well. Right, so let me go through. I'm just coming back from North. Oh, right, brilliant. Right, you know when you get validation, right? When I come on here, I trust two things in my life implicitly: spirit and my wife. And why do I do that? Is because they've never put me in a position where I've been wronged. You know, I'm always supported. So the way that I work with my guides and my inspirers is I hear words. I have the sense. I have a certain opening up procedure. I know now when they're in and they're close by me. I've never sat here and said to anybody that I see spirit in the literal sense, because I've had to work on that perception. Because originally, when I started out doing my spiritual work, it was, I'm not good enough because I don't see him stood there. Well, to be truthful, I don't think anybody does. It's rare if you physically see spirit in their full form, because to bring their full form through and an accurate message takes a lot of energy, and not of all of them are at that level. So you may well find that those of you out there that are upset or grieving or missing somebody and thinking that they're not there, they're probably using one of your other senses. And what I've learned over the 6 or 7 years that I've been doing this on the professional circuit is that depending on my energy level as well, will depend on how they bring that message through. So when they told me about Norfolk, I just passed that on. So thank you very much. So I really appreciate that. Just sent you a message. The solstice trading is on. Invite sent and a card if you would. Right, my friend. Yes, let's do that for you. Right. I've noticed that you're on your upward journey now with your cards as well. So what I've done with you is I love it when people promote energy for other people and upliftment. And if you go onto Paul's channel and follow Paul, Paul is an amazing guy. And he's just started incorporating cards into his healing journey. So he pulls the daily card. And it's just nice to have that the support from the world at large when it's coming in. And you will do a lot more of that. But what I will say to you, Paul, is don't be too much of a juggler. You know, you've got big work to do, as we've had this discussion before. So don't get distracted by lots of little bits. And I do know that your character is always busy. And one of the things that Paul taught me was being co-creator of your own reality. And sometimes, though, we have to come, when we step center stage, we have to adjust our focus, because there might be things that we've sort of gone off on a tangent on, and then we've missed the boat on something. So the senses with you at this moment is to stay grounded. You know that you've got a lot of work to do. You know that you're ascending to this higher level. So I've left this one to the angels to give to you. Love and blessings fill your life. Harmonious relationships with family members. So it is a healing card for you. We have got some completion phase coming in, with it being a 10. So with them seeing that green there, so it's settling matters and affairs of the heart, right? Just a sense, and I don't know anything about this. I don't know what's going on around you, because it's been quite a while since I've actually seen you personally, about letting something go, letting the guilt go. It's almost like you've got to take yourself into a room somewhere, sit with that energy and just go, right, what has this taught me? What can I take from it going forward? What do I need to sort of let loose into Mother Earth and have it reprocessed, so that I don't have to feel this feeling? Because once you've felt the bad feelings, once you've felt the difficulty, once you felt the hurt and the pain, take from it the lessons that you need to learn, and then the rest, let it free. Because the pain for me is a sign that there's something that we need to look at. Once I've looked at it and I've learned it, I've no longer the need to experience that pain, so I can switch that message off. So I hope that makes a bit of sense for you. Joe and Elboon, I hope you're still here, guys, because as I say, I'm doing my best to keep for. I'm not at my full pace for you. Angel card for you, straight out the middle. And I'm having another swig of tea here, because the sense with you is that I need to let this be heard more. I need this sense of discipline, and I need to get myself organized, and I need to get myself in focus. So there's one or two, my guide is talking about, there's been one or two bad habits that have surfaced from the past. Now, I sense that that is probably a lack of self-respect or self-esteem in some way or another, that you've allowed somebody to sort of put a roof over you. And what I mean by that is not like, you know, providing you with a house. I'm just providing you with restrictions or something like that. And you've kind of like backed off. I've got a little lady in spirit that's coming through around you that I feel is quite fiery. And what she said, she says, I won't tolerate any of that. And she's just like going to kick the door down with you for energy to get you moving forward. So I don't know if you've been a bit flat emotionally or a bit down in the dumps, but she's coming to kick you up the backside with some pointy shoes. I don't know what the pointy shoes are in reference to, but she's telling me that she's going to use them on you, and make no bones about it, you will move. Okay. Just the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. The card for you. It is a blue one. Right. Now, fives. Fives are interesting because fives, for me, the way that I perceive them is it's like having a big jigsaw puzzle where you open the box and you tip it all out on the thing, but you've got to get started. So we've gone from the stability of having the 4, of knowing whereabouts we are with things. And then there's an element of wanting the change. We get the changes started, but we haven't got all of the pieces. So do we start with the outside or do we start with the middle? Well, the first thing to do is to turn the box over so we've got a picture, so we've got an idea of what we're actually heading towards. Michael is the omnipresent bodyguard, and what he's all about is strength, support, and protection around you. The message on your card is this situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment to the outcome and consider taking a more uplifting approach. So bless them for agreeing with me. Thank you very much. Right. Gemma, thank you very much. Love you to bits. Now, I've said to you about not like validating people and things like that. Right. If you're on YouTube, please go and have a look on Gemma's page. What I will do is when I edit this video for YouTube afterwards, I will put links in for Gemma and a couple of other people that have come on. Gemma is a wonderful advocate for autism, and we had a very interesting discussion the other night about neurodivergent behavior and how your thoughts affect you and things like that. Gemma is amazing, and if you're going onto YouTube yourself and you've got any ideas about starting channels, she's somebody to look at. She's got a big following and has been a very big supporter of mine, which I really appreciate. So Gemma, bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it's the same thing. Like and share, please. That's all I can ask for. So let me go. It's all happening now. I will get back to you, Natalie, in a minute. I'm just putting this question. It's all happening now. It's been a crazy mad year. It has, mate, on it. And say we had this discussion. And here's another thing that if you would like to check out Paul's page, if you look on my channel on YouTube, if you want to go across and have a look at that, there was an interview that I did on Paul's channel with him when we discussed about the magic of Stonehenge last year, and it was amazing, and it's still living with me. It was absolutely brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it. Let me just see where. Just lost me where I've gone. Just lost my thread there, guys. Bear with me. I've been watching my friend just recently on here, Fortune Cookies. So if Fortune Cookies pops ahead in, she's an American lady. We're going to do some collaboration work with working on tarot and mediumship and lots of other things. She is amazing. She really is. So if you get the opportunity to go and look at Fortune Cookies website on YouTube, you're in for a treat, because she does her work in a totally different way to me. But she'll do readings for celebrities. She'll do readings if you've got something that comes up into your mind about that you've got this feeling about. I don't know. Last night there was Harry and Meghan. There was various other celebrities that were suggested, and she does the cards. And the cards basically tell the story, and it's fascinating to watch. It's not the way that I work, but this is the thing that I want to say to people when you're looking at working spiritually, is embrace the differences, right? As long as you're working from the heart and you're being honest and staying in your integrity, there are no rivals out there. And I honestly believe that spirit will work with all of us. So if your aim and your goal is to bring in upliftment, you're always going to be backed, and like attracts like. So for you, Natalie, let's pull a couple of cards. Let me just keep going through these comments here. So I'll do my best to keep up. Got you there, Natalie. And I know we're a little bit behind here, but as I say, just bear with me, because I had one of my friends feedback to me when I did one of my first YouTubes, and he went, by the time you'd answered my comment, I was nearly back at home. Well, that's the thing. I concentrate on the mediumship. I concentrate on the work there. So I do often miss out on the comments, but that's the thing. As you get busier, it's all right me saying, oh, I'd love to give everybody who asks for a reading, but it's just not possible. The more people that come on, and then you get the spammers that block in. I'm not, I was going to say, I'm not making excuses at all, because at the end of the day, I'm learning and I'm doing my best, and I can't say any more. This is one of the things that I'm learning to do over the course of this year, is to not apologize so much. Because the thing is, and for anybody else here who's out there, what are you apologizing for? Because if you could do different, you would. You know, I don't think anybody had come on here and deliberately slow things down to such a pace that you'd piss off the viewers that you've got on there. I really don't believe that. So when you apologize, it's basically you apologizing for giving your gift across. At the end of the day, I'm not paid to do this. I just do my level best to bring in upliftment. And this is what my guides are saying. You know, it's good. Because if there's anybody else out there that's hit rock bottom, please know this to be true, that the only way is to go up, right? So what I'm learning to do over the course of these next few months is I'm not making any wild promises or statements about where I'm going to be and what I'm going to do. I'm getting to know me. And there's things that have definitely changed within my psyche and my soul, but I'm accepting them. But I haven't got all of the instructions just yet. So it's one of them that I'm riding by the seat of my pants, because it's strange. That's the only way I can describe it. So all I'm hoping is that as I work along, that you stick with me, and we'll go on this journey together, because we'll just promote upliftment for everybody that comes on and asks for it. And I say, focusing on a lot on YouTube on the mental health aspect of it. And say the idea is to just promote upliftment for people. Right. So, Natalie, around you, thoughts, right? And remember that thoughts are generated by the inner being. So we don't have to think the thoughts. So your card, the 8 of Swords, is all about being trapped by your own thoughts, right? I never want to be in a stage where I come across as condescending. So I explain when I'm giving my story around these cards. So I look at this. I like simple, right? Because the simpler I can get the explanation, the simpler it is for me to get that across. And hopefully then that translates in the right way and you understand it. And it's like, right, we're knocking on the door. Let's get this door open and deal with whatever the issue is behind it. So the issues with this lady here, number one, blindfolded. So we're lacking clarity, we're lacking vision, because we've got the blue there that's communication. So there is a worrisome situation around you. But is it real, right? Or is it in your mind? Now, the second problem that she's got is that she's got this chain wrapped around her wrist. So her thoughts are binding her, are keeping her grounded to the spot. The funny thing is with her is she put that there. So that resistance that she's feeling, she's actually responsible for. The next clue in that card is that all of those swords that surround her, if we imagine, like I said earlier, that they are thoughts, they are the way that we think and the way that we process information, none of them actually touch her. So the simple answer is to move all of that debris out of the way, take the blindfold off, grab your brew, glass of wine, whatever it is, take a big deep breath and go, right, what's going on? Right, I need to assess this. I need to look at that. I need to deal with that. There's still this element that's coming through for me that you're not good enough in some way or another. That needs to stop, right? Because the truth of it is, and I found this, I can go out there and put myself on a plate and go, please judge me, right? And I've been up for awards. You've seen that yourself. I've been up for awards as a medium, right? And I keep repeating this because I want this message to get through to a lot of people. That somebody can tell you that you're crap. Somebody can tell you that you're absolutely brilliant, award-winning, amazing, and all of that sort of thing. And you can take that on board and you can sit there and nod and agree or whatever. But until you go, right, actually, it doesn't really matter what you think of me. It matters what I think of me. So until I start believing in one way or another and then acting on that message and that information, everything that I'm being given is irrelevant. So this is what I sense with you when we're talking about guidance and upliftment, is to give yourself a good talking to. Whatever you feel that is holding you back, right, challenge it. Right, step up to it. And I'm leading by example. So I'm suffering with a lot of anxiety at the moment. Right. Now, when you say suffering, that says that you step back from it. Right. Don't make that mistake. The anxiety is very real, but I'm stepping up to it because I want to know why. I want to know what it is. And I want to take the bits out of it so I can dismantle it. Once I dismantle it, I will be able to provide other people with impetus and how I've got through it. And hopefully then they can apply it to their own lives and move through it. So don't use anxiety as like a grounding block or anything like that, saying, right, I've got anxiety, so I've got to stop. No, you haven't. You've just got to manage your own mind effectively. And the justice card is it's the legal card. So if you think about any dealings that you've got with any legalities, anything to do with solicitors or wills or anything where there's money that's got to come back into you in some way or another, what I'm sensing with you, whatever that investment is, let the buggers do the job, right? Don't fret over it. Deal with only things as they come in and present themselves as real. So that's my sense coming in from my guides. The other way I look at this card, again, looking for my simplicity, is the way to make myself forward is balance and moderation, and things will come out as they're meant to be. I always believe spiritually in right and divine timing, but it takes time, it takes balance, moderation, and it takes those small steps which eventually become the big ones. So with you, maybe a little bit of contemplation, maybe a little bit of time to step back from the rawity of a lot of things that are going on, and lean on your family, lean on your lovely husband, have that open and honest communication, and know that even if we are suffering from panic attacks and, you know, anxiety and depression and all of the other labels that we've got, right, okay. I did a whole thing the other night about accepting these sort of things, and then my very next thing that when I read for people is go, and then what? So you give yourself that label, you give yourself that spotlight, and you say, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Right, okay, that's what you've told yourself, that's what your storyline is at that moment. Right, what we're going to do after that part, what's the next step? So this is, again, I feel that a more appropriate card for you would have been the Hermit there, where we're going into that deep contemplation, having to think, reassessing, and then coming out and making some big changes. All right, so I never know what's going to happen. I'm waiting for test results right now, but the one thing that could, yeah, right, and do you know what? This has been mine. The one thing that I know that I'm good at is having a chat with people. Right, there's lots of things that have changed around me as a result of going to Stonehenge and things like that. Changed my perception, because at some point I was actually thinking about packing this up last year, because I couldn't formulate it in the way that I wanted to. Now, Spirit, bless them, they'll always let you do what you need to do. They're non-coercive and non-judgmental. So if I had really given up, then they would have let me do that, which I feel now on reflection it would have been a shame. But if you're lacking confidence, if the self-esteem's a bit low, then your mind will conjure up all of these wonderful ways of how you're letting the world down, and you know, that you're not good enough, etc., etc. And then in the very next breath, something will come along that will blow that all out of the water. So life ebbs and flows all the time. I mean, I think Forrest Gump got it right, didn't he? That it's like a box of chocolates. You're never quite sure what you're going to get. Right. So, Gemma, I hope you're still on. And if you're not, I shall prompt you towards it in the thing there that your reading's on there, because I'm looking at this and I am quite a good way behind there. Margaret, I hope you've had a good day as well. Let's keep going through these and see if we can get a few of these comments back. I'll stop there and then I'll do a few more. Gemma, Bless you, and say thank you for all of the support. Right, you've got the Page of Swords. Right now, the Page of Swords. So if you think about what the page actually does, the page is that youthful element. He is that younger member. So, and what a page does is he's the younger member of the court family. So you've got the king, the queen, the knight, and the page. And the page for me brings in like the news. He is the errand boy. He's quite extravagant in his energies, quite upbeat in his energies. Now, there's an exception to every rule, and for me, when I read these cards, I think about this guy. So swords are the heavier energies of the suits anyway, because it's your very real life. I keep seeing swords for me, with them being through air, is like we've got some situation that we need to get to the bottom of and apply a sort of dramatic energy to it to cut through and deal with that in reality. And what this guy is all about is dealing with or being aware of bitches, moaners, whiners, anybody there that's not being nice to you, anybody that's backstabbing, anybody that's causing trouble or aggravation to you or anything like that, and using that sword to cut them loose. Because I will stand there in front of many witnesses, Gemma, and say that you're amazing. And as long as you remember that, and I'm not one to tell you, because you've had so much more experience than me on YouTube and dealing with some of the idiots that we have to deal with. But this is just being aware that there may be one or two more in the woodwork there, that we've got to use our skills to get rid of them and ignore them and bypass them. So just be mindful of, there might be a little bit of petty gossip, jealousy, whatever it presents itself as, and just cut its head off. It's like getting rid of the snake, cutting the head off the snake stops the rest of it going. And this is where we go polar opposites to this, because we've got two fantastic cards. We've got the Sun and we've got the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles, so we've got a completed, sorry, get that right. Ten of Pentacles is a completed cycle. So money, finances, riches, enrichment, or investments in things that are non-material wealth, as I explained earlier, and looking at what you're investing in going forward. So it's planning. So it could be jobs, could be business, could be the way that you're expanding. It could be anything like that. But it's having the right amount of money to be able to do that. So whenever money comes in like that, I've got really big hope for the future. I'd love to sit here and say it's a lottery win or some big load of money coming in from you from somewhere. But it's just that sense of the upliftment of money, you know, that increased amount of finances. So when you get it, look where you're going to invest it, because the same thing with everything is that when we've got to a 10, we've got to go back to the ace and start again in some way or another, because the journey of the tarot deck is all about going from the Fool to the World and everything in between. So it's all about completing phases. So over the course of this year, Gemma, I would be saying looking and concentrating on your finances and looking whereabouts that you would like to be in these next couple of years, because you've got the Sun there, and the Sun is all about nurture and nature and guidance, shining the light on, bringing things into being, giving birth to. So whatever it is that you're looking at doing will be successful, as long as you're mindful of planks like this in the background. So that's fairly simple, isn't it? So I'm going to keep going through here. Let me just have a look at that, just because it's in capital letters. Right, okay, thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Nice to be here. Audrey, thank you very much for tuning in. Now here's another lovely lady. Here's an absolutely another lovely lady. Big supporter of mine when I go down to Stafford, which I will be there at the Stafford Showground in April, May time. We're down there, and it's lovely down there. Such a lovely venue, and I look forward to seeing Audrey, because we have some interesting conversations about dragons and spiritual elements, and I've got some lovely gifts that are just up to my left hand side there that are in my treatment room that Audrey's given me, and I still wear the bracelets when I go to the shows, and I've attempted to use the cards, and they've been interesting. I'll have to have a bit more of a conversation with you about them when they come through. So 3 cards have fallen out for you, so we'll quicken the pace a little bit, because I will run out of energy, I think, quite soon. So let me just get rid of. We've got another plank on. Block user. Let's get rid of that. Da-da-da. Oh dear. They can get stuffed. Yeah. You know, I try not to be rude, but just piss off. You know, one of my great friends that when I started out doing these that used to come on regular, Ian Timothy, he used to read for it. He'd actually draw them a card, but I can't be asked for them. I'll be truthful, I can't be asked for them. For me, they're just scumbags. You know, they're just preying on other people's enjoyments. They're just parasites, and I just the sort of thing is send them on the way with love, whatever it is that you want to say. But as long as they're not in my airspace, I'm quite happy. So Audrey, 8 of Cups. So you know how to read cards as well, and I've read for you before. So this is a card of maybe turning your back on something, of something there that emotionally we need to move on from. You know, it's time to trot into the sun. I always look at this card and I think there's an element of things being in disarray emotionally. So what is it that I need to move on from? What is it where there's my senses? Right. So I'm having dad shouted at me around you at the minute, Audrey. And again, forgive me if I've got this wrong, because I work with words. I get the feeling of dad's energy being quite prevalent around you, whether he's here or whether he's in the spirit world. I believe he's in the spirit world. That's where I'm being guided. But there's sometimes where, and I'm going through this phase myself. My dad passed away recently, and you go through this sort of evaluation process. Did this turn out in that way? Is that how I remembered it? Is that all? You know, lots of stuff going around, and at some point we have to move on. Right? And I'm not talking about grieving, guys. Don't think that I'm saying moving on from grieving. I'm actually talking about moving on from difficulties and emotional upset, because we look at this and there's maximum effort being put in to straighten things up, level things out, talk your way through. And then it comes to the point where we've put enough energy into something. Is it now time to take a different track? And for me, this is, I'm very, very wary about saying put things behind you. I like things there sort of in my face, dealt with, and then they can go into Mother Earth and they can be sent back for cleaning and cleansing, and that energy can be got rid of. The sense of moving on emotionally for you. How we're going to do that, we've got the alchemist there, and we've had a conversation about one or two things over the past couple of years, Audrey. So maybe this is just about getting that last little bit of balance, because the temperance girl there, the lady in there, she's all about the alchemy of things, of bringing things together, opposing forces coming in. And how she's going to do it, she's going to do it in tiny little steps, you know. So it's like communicating that side, getting things leveled out. And the good thing is about her as well, she gets extraordinary results from things that you wouldn't actually expect her to turn things in. Thank you. Turn things into a workable environment. I've just been told to tell you that diamonds form under pressure, and you're certainly a diamond. That's what's being said from the spirit world. And the Emperor, right? Now, this card, would you believe it, right? So I love my cards, don't get me wrong, and I'm not going to sit here and say anything negative about tarot or anything like that. But this card got me into so much bother the other day, right? Because I called somebody stubborn and they then told me there wasn't. And I'm a fine one to talk. But I was describing what I was feeling rather than what the card was actually saying. So the Emperor is, how I see him, is like this. Very much cut and dried. Tells people how it is. Quite an authoritative figure. Tells people what he expects. So when you've got the Empress's energy coming in, it's a lot more gentle, and she's more of a negotiator. She brings in love, and I like cajole people along, gives them that sort of space, but she's there supporting whatever. Whereas this guy comes in and he wants results. He's all about stability, but he's also about getting it. You know, no, let's do it. So look at a situation and look to see what needs taking charge of. what we need to do to achieve those results, how we can demonstrate that we've actually got the peace, the stability, and what we're looking at. And he's all about using his energy effectively. So put all of that lot together, there's some things that we need to move past and move away from and into that new space, but also there's an element of self-forgiveness in there as well, because my feeling is you've done the best that you can. So any lingering memories, just let them go. Let them go with love, like I'm doing with all these planks on here. He says, gritting his teeth. Right, so how long have we got left? Is my tea still there? Just keep coming up with these comments. Been working on some artwork, and oh wow, that's amazing. Well done, Margaret. Congratulations. All right. Again, I will. I hope you're still on. You're probably not, but thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate that, Mel. I'll always advocate for these guys. So if you go across and you're on YouTube again, guys, look at the Fitness Hutch, because they've got a holistic approach to helping people basically lift themselves as a complete unit. So you've got the lovely Mel there that deals with the mental health aspect of it. Husband Paul, when he's on, if he might be in the comments there, he deals with fitness. He deals with motivation and coaching, and he's just an all-round decent geezer. So go across on their channel. They've got about just over 2,000 followers on there, and they're forward and progressive thinking. So whereas I'm kind of like plodding at the minute, they're those few steps. So I always get a buzz when I watch the work that they're doing, because it gives me that excitement. They're kind of like trailblazers. Who the people that Paul's attracting that he's dealing with is where I would like to be, sort of longer term down the road, but 10 years behind him, because I'm turning into a right old fart now. But the energy still burns brightly in what I want to achieve with all of this. And at the end of the day, I love doing the cards, but I want to be that therapist. But I want to lead by example and show that it is possible that even if you've got anxiety, depression, and all the rest of it that goes with it, that you can still function and that you can still achieve. So let's keep going. Right, Louise Davis. Right now, I'll be truthful. I don't read with ego. I'm not big-headed or anything like that. This lady is amazing, right? She does her own readings. We did a video in this very room a few years ago, and it was probably one of my most watched on YouTube. And if you want a no nonsense reading, if you want your arse kicking in the nicest possible way, she'll tell you exactly how it is. Blunt, direct, and an amazing ally to have in your spiritual corner. She's just I'm a huge fan. So to read for her, it's always a privilege. All right. So we all read in different ways, but essentially the cards will tell you a version of the same story. So what I do is I turn the cards over by all means. I don't know anything about upside down and back to front, because to be truthful, I've never studied that. I just read them in the way that they come across. So we had the bitching and the backbiting and the negative Nellies on an earlier card there, Lou. So this is preparing you now. Whereas the same with Gemma is tough, but you're next level tough. So I'm sure that you won't suffer any fools gladly. My feeling is with you, though, maybe somebody's just got under your radar a little bit, or maybe you're just giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, where we want the full Lou, we want the gas burners turned up to 10 and somebody wants nuking. So I sense somebody around you that wants their backside kicking. There's a lady in the spirit world that I feel that you've probably not come to terms with. And I don't mean it with a loss. I just mean the sense of who it is that's around you, that she's still, it's like she's in the background, but I don't know whether there was crosswords with her in some way or another, or whether it was just that your paths went separate, but she's in that background wishing you the best. She didn't always know what she was doing, she was telling me, but she, in her mind, she did her best, but on reflection realised that some of the things that she did was wrong. I'm not here to bring apologies or bridge people back together, but there's just that sense of what her message is, whether you're accepting it or not, is to fight fire with fire in some way or another. So accurate communication there, because we're dealing with the throat chakra. Sometimes we've just got to have a battle with people. We've got to cut, we've got to cut out anybody there that's bringing us down or upsetting us or being disrespectful. Right, progress work-wise is brilliant for the course of these next few months, because we've got the 3 of Wands there. So that we've got the donkey work done behind us. So that wand in the background is saying that we've had the idea and we've put something in, put something down onto paper, or we've started thinking about making those changes, and then we generated the energy to make those moves forward. We've got the 2 there, which shows that we've gone down a path and picked a path, and we've gone there. Now, my feeling is with that, normally when people have picked a path, they're normally happy with it, because, look, right, we'll give it a go and then we'll see how far it gets. Sometimes it's a dead end, and sometimes we have to retrace the steps and go on that. Or the third option is that we succeed at what we're doing. That my sense is with you that there's been some dead end that you've gone down, you've experienced it, but your sense of pride of pushing it on further past what it should be is just down to the fact that you don't like giving up on anything. My feeling is to get that further away success that is coming closer to you, we might have to change tact a little bit, whether it's working, whether it's who we're working with, whether what's we're working around. I sense over these next 2 or 3 months, Lou, that you've got changes coming in, or opportunities to make changes in the way that you work or what you're associating in. So whether that's a change of premises, whether it's going around with a different crew or something like that, just be in that place that be open-minded, be independent, and that free thinker. And you just topped off there with a Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune for me is a fantastic card. All I say with it when I'm looking at it is don't procrastinate, don't let the grass grow under your feet, like I was saying earlier, because the thing about the Wheel of Fortune is I honestly believe that all choices that it lands on are all good. But it's one of those things like life that if we hesitate and wait for things to be that little bit better, or something better to be in a better way of thinking, that things have been solved or we're not going through this situation, once I've done that, it'll be okay, that opportunity's more often than not gone. And I'm not one of those that sits around and say that it will never come back again, but why take the chance? So this is about you pushing forward, and I don't know what the Beautiful South's got to do with it, but the song that's just coming in for you there is Carry On Regardless. Natalie, I hope you got that card earlier on, but that was at 7:39, so I hope that made sense. Emma Louise Hook. I don't know if you're here, guys. Oh, bless you. I send my healing energies and my healing thoughts out to you there, Margaret, as well. Only just managed to get on. Lucy Stafford. Well, that's just jumped in. Having lots of smoky smells around me again. Yeah. Right. So when I started my journey, just before I was leaving the prison service, my commute was 43 miles each way. And towards the end of my time, where I was making that decision that I couldn't cope with this anymore and I wanted to leave and all the rest of it, I started smelling fag smoke in my car. Now, I have never smoked personally, and I don't like the smell of smoke around me. But strangely, it was comforting. And I'll be truthful with you, I have never found out who that person was. But for that sort of last 6 months of my service, every time I got to the roundabout at Newark, for those of you that are in my area, as you go onto the A1, that smell would be there, and it would travel with me all the way to work. And then as I got back there to turn back to go onto the bypass for Lincoln, it had gone again. And it gave me great comfort. So I honestly feel as well that spirit will use what you're strongest at to pass you a message on. So if that's your greatest memory of somebody, like it's like with my father-in-law, there was, before he passed away, there was a certain smell that he brought in because he was in a care home for the last 6 or 7 years of his life. And we could actually smell him before he passed. It was really strange, but he brought him, he's here. So spirit have this way of moving around and bringing their energy. And if you ask them to show you a memory link that you can remember and you can understand, I absolutely 100% agree that will be somebody around you that is just bringing you comfort at this moment at times. feeling a little bit dizzy around this statement as well while I'm reading this as well. So maybe there's just this need for rest with you, Lucy, that just gather your thoughts. Don't be so quick to run into things, to commit to things. Maybe you've not just been on full cylinders for the last couple of weeks. So just coming in to just ground you. I sense that's coming in around you. I sense a little bit of sickness around you. So, but rather than saying it's an illness, I feel it's more anxiety. So just give yourself the credit that you deserve. And if there's something there that needs rebuilding, because I've got the tower in my mind, the tower is all about tearing down old structures and old thought patterns and rebuilding them all in your own image. So if that's what you're embarking on, good luck, because you've got the strength to do it. Thank you, Jane. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to answer that by saying yes, I'm absolutely 100%, but I'm not. But truthfully, I don't want to go into it. But thank you very much for the comment. Hi, Rainbow Rose. Hope you're well. Now, here's another lady that's absolutely wonderful as well, and I hope that she's doing really good on her spiritual journey, because she's an amazing lady, and her partner's amazing as well. Good evening, Vicky. May I have to warm me cockles? Warm me cockles. Right. As soon as I've said that, Bunny, I've got a gentleman's energy coming in with me that is passing on a lot of love to you. Much missed, I feel. I don't know whether we've had issues around the chest here, because as I'm talking, I all of a sudden feel like this pain that's going around. So we've either got the heart area or we've got some issues around the chest and breathing, because all of a sudden I just feel like it's a real effort. So when I pass, it's almost like it's indigestion, but it was obviously worse than indigestion. But we're at and strangely enough, you should be able to sense him by his smell. Now, I'm a bit wary about passing that through, but that's what I'm being given. He says, "Oi, what are you saying?" I said, well, I'm not being cheeky, but that's the sense of how I'm picking you up. So 2 cards for you, buddy. So we've got the King of Cups. So I don't know whether we've got issues with a male around us, whether it's spiritually or whether it's down here in this lovely world of ours. But this is just saying there to take charge of your feelings, because you've got the cups there. The cups are all about the emotions. The orange there, as I said earlier on when the cards come out, if you think about where the sacral chakra is actually situated, it's just around the navel area, which is guts, which is your intuition, how you think. It's always also known as your second brain. So what's going on around you emotionally that you're struggling to deal with? Is there any residual crap that you need to get rid of? So that goes out in its usual way. But either way, there was a sense of having to process some disappointment or some frustration around you. Get rid of it. Right? Don't hang any hooks on it. Don't drag it around like an anchor. But take charge of your emotions there as well. And I always say when this comes up as well about daddy issues. So if you've got issues around somebody that's being a little bit defensive or overbearing or anything like that, like say, just wish them love. Don't engage in the battle, because fights, arguments, discord take more than one person to be involved in it. If you walk away from it, distance yourself from that feeling, it's done, and it evaporates. The other card that you've got there is the Judgment card, which if somebody was asking me, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Is this all right for me? Rethink comes in for the mind there. It's the Resurrection card. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. Is there something there that I need to bring back to life and then put new energy into it? Or do I need a revisit of it? Do I need to have a re-look at it to change the parameters so that I'm still in with my own thoughts, my own gut feelings, but am I now doing something now that out of habit rather than what I actually want to achieve? So revisit and dealing with your own emotions. Thank you. Let me have a little one. I'm the ones that's still in the competition phase that haven't worked on themselves. Do you know what, Emma? It really is, isn't it? It's I sit here and I'm not a hypocrite, but there are times where you just go, right, you can see what other people's going and you can help fix it. And then you get up or rather I get up, because I'll take ownership of this. I get up one morning and my head's up my arse, and there's no real reason for it. So you start stripping it down, trying to find out what had triggered you or things like that. And Mel, who's on here from the Hutches, she said focus on your glimmers rather than your triggers. And I think that's good advice. That I think your moods can dip. I think the environment can have a bearing on it. Your perception of things can have a bearing on it. Your upbringing. There's so many arms to it that can have a bearing on what you're doing. But have a look and just go, right, okay, am I accepting something that I don't want to deal with anymore? And then ask yourself why. I'm one of these that, yeah, it's almost like the boxer in the fight that will take a lot of punches. But they get to a point, right, I need a rest. I need to take a knee. I need to get my head sorted out. I need to focus on me first. And it's not wrong. I've said so many times to people that self-care, is necessary. It's not a luxury. So when you need that time out, take that time away. Step away from it. I really need some help if you could help me. If you're still on, Lewis, let me know what that actually means. Hi, Serendipity. Hope you're well. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining. I hope you're still there. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's lovely of you to say so. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Karen, if you're still on, where were we at? Where were we at time-wise? So I'm still half an hour behind. I'm doing my best, guys. But just, if you stayed on with me, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. And say, I've stopped myself now putting pressure on about where I want to achieve with YouTube. I'm on Facebook tonight to show loyalty and to say thanks for all the guys that support me on YouTube. It won't be a regular occurrence just because of the spammers, but I won't forget you. I will still be on here working with the Facebook, and I share all my stuff because I am so grateful that 6 years further on from this little spark of an idea, this course that I was on where I started the page, that there's now over 2,000 of you that support and like my stuff and essentially put bread on my table, because if people share my things and send them out there, when I do readings at shows and things like that, then I get house parties and people will then invite me to do stage demonstrations and things like that. I never get big-headed. I'm always going to be grateful, because at the end of the day, you guys are contributing to my livelihood, and I really genuinely appreciate that. I'm not just saying that, but there's only so much that in regards to being distracted and getting angry about things that I can cope with. So my thing going forward is, right, if it stresses me, why do I need stress in my life? I really don't. So I get rid of it. So Karen, financially around you. So when we look at things, I don't give bad news. I don't look at darkness or negativity. But what I'm sensing around here is that you're worrying unnecessarily about money and finances. So if the question is down to money, you've got two fantastic cards that tell me everything about you that I need to know. That you're a grafter. And I don't quite know whether you're from this side of the pond or the other side of the pond, but grafter, if you're willing to put the work in, you're willing to put the effort to make where you want to be. There's a sense with you that there's a change in direction coming up, or there's the opportunity to make choices and changes coming up. Maybe you're a little bit unsure, maybe you're lacking confidence, maybe you're feeling under pressure that you must go down this particular route. Or maybe it's just that you've got bogged down in too much thinking and over-analysis. But what I'm being drawn to show you here is you've got two cards that are absolutely fantastic in regards to finances. So the Knight of Pentacles. So traditionally, anything to do with knights is normally action. You know, we've got a really comes in like really dramatic and pushes you forward, and it's quite a strong energy. But the Knight of Pentacles is slightly different, because what he's doing is he's stood still. He's stood in the field and he's done all of his work. And the work that he's done will now mature into that non-material wealth aspect that I was talking about earlier on, that what you invest in will come back as long as you put the right amount of effort in, that will pay off for you. So what we look at with this is, how do we get to that point? Well, by investing in yourself, by building up on your skills, because it's not always about money. It could be on, like I was saying earlier on, about retraining, rethinking, changing your pathway to suit something that's different. It's like with me, there's certain skills that I've got that if push comes to shove, I could drop onto. But I believe so much in the spiritual work that I'm doing that I also believe that spirit will provide for me. It's difficult at the moment. It really is, to keep that faith. But spirit will let you think whatever you want to think. So I look at then, how am I going to forge the life that I want? And what resources have I got? What effort have I got to put into it? Because one thing I always believe is that nobody gives you anything. You know, it's got to be earned. It's got to be structured. It's got to be gone forward. But what's right and divine timing for you will never miss you. You've got the 10 of Pentacles again, which I see as my war chest card. So there's money being there that's going to be at your disposal for doing the bigger things. But again, like with the question that's posed with the Knight there, is what are you going to do to make that happen? So when these decisions come in, there's a real feeling of maybe what you want needs more money, but are you willing to go that extra mile to get that? Or are you quite happy to just sit there in the field and just chill? Only you can make that decision. But pasture's new because we've got the sun there, which is nurture. It's giving upliftment. It's shining the light on. It's giving you that guidance that you're looking for. So there's a lady in the spirit world for you that comes in and just goes, do what you know's best. Do what you've always done. And just, if not, just carry on regardless. We were talking about that song earlier on. Just keep going, because the thing for me is procrastination is nobody's friend anyway. It just doesn't lead us anywhere productive. So I'll just leave you with that thought as well. Keep battling on. Yes, lovely. Yes, thank you very much, David. I appreciate that. That is really, really appreciated. Thank you. I would love a read. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm getting towards the end of my energies. I'll go on for about another 10 minutes and I'll just sort of pick people at random. All right. As I say, I just want to report back on that because I absolutely love this lady. It's been a long time since I've seen her because we've done these things called the psychic switches when I first started out with this. And she's one of these ladies that just takes no nonsense. She's one of life's ass kickers and she's very good at what she does. It's just that it's like with anybody's energy. Sometimes because you don't want to be perceived as big-headed or you're the big I am or whatever, that you don't always know just how truly good you are. So like with me, it takes other people to tell me, like some wonderful feedback there that turns around and says that, right, but do I accept it or not? Well, I'm always reluctant because my thoughts are always about the other person and wanting them to succeed. And Lou's the same. She's amazing at what she does, but she doesn't always just take time out to realize just how good she is. So let's keep going through these comments. Would love a message. I met you in Mansfield. Oh, bless you. Right. Thank you. Right. I'll say thank you, Sophie, for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Mansfield show. I'm back there this year. April, I've just been at my table all for the full weekend. And the October one, if you're around at the October one, we'll be back in that hall. God, tell you, right. Anybody on here that's got any sort of designs on going and standing up in front of people and doing readings and doing mediumship and things like that, right? I had this real opportunity to go and do this. But what I didn't expect was just how many people was there. So there was I mean, it's a big room. I think there was 130 people in there. And then that was seated, and then there was still people standing, and then there was people round the back of me while I was sort of stood on stage. Wow, what an experience! Now that's where you go, right? You need the nervous part of you to bugger off, while spirit just channels through you, and you just give it. And the reception I got was just incredible. I just feel so humbled. It really is nice, right? So a couple of cards for you, Sophie. We've got. Right, so we've got the Two of Wands, which is all about the pathway of choice. Now, you see, I hate the terminology crossroads because a lot of people go, well, I'm at a bit of a crossroads point in my life. You're not. Pick a pathway that suits your current circumstances or go down the path that you're going to benefit from the most. Don't be weighing up stuff like, oh, I'm frightened of going down there. Well, you're not going to go down there then. So don't waste any more hours on it. Don't think that you're not good enough, because, again, you won't go down that path. Even better, when you get this card, is forge your own path. But this is essentially saying that in wands, this is right. We're now coming up to what we're going to align ourselves with. It's about partnerships in a practical level. Where do we go? Who do we want to go with? What do we need to structure that new pathway? Because eventually, if we're going down one, it eliminates the second one. So it's basically, I think that what they're saying to you is to take your foot out of both camps and concentrate your energy going down one and see how it goes. And don't worry, don't be juggling so much with your energy, because wands are all about fire. Fire is fuel, and when you use your fuel in the correct way, you can make major changes in your life. So you need as much as you can. There's a lady in the spirit world there that's just saying, if nothing else, just do your best. That's all that anybody can ask for you. Don't have so much of a perfectionist streak that everything's got to be absolutely bang on before you make these little tweaks, right? Just keep walking anyway, keep learning, keep striding. And the other card is there that you're going to be okay, because you've got the Six of Wands, reasons for being up in the air and all excited, and people recognizing your skills and talents. So we make the decisions, we reap the rewards, and you're going to be successful. So don't let the buggers grind you down. Shirley, right, yeah, absolutely incredible. It's down to when I went to, we've had the discussion, haven't we, when I went to Glastonbury, and I dipped in that pool, and I had that vision of the guide coming in. He's basically kicking my arse at the minute, and I'm grateful, because I needed him. Right, because I've not been at my strongest mentally. But the good thing is when you've got that power behind you and somebody steps in and just goes, right, I think when you're working as a healer, then it brings to the surface all of your untreated trauma, unanswered things, all of the deep hurts and coming out there. Because this is my belief. I'm not putting this on somebody, but I believe that you've got to have experienced some of it either in this life or past life to be able to pass on that energy to go into the dark. So a lot of my work that I've been focusing on and doing the YouTube stuff there is that as a therapist, people like the structure that a therapist brings in that gives them that pathway to get out, right? And so we're coming out of the darkness and into the light. I've had this weird thing in my head where I've just gone, do you know what? I'm going to focus slightly different. Yeah, I am going to help structure people's path for them, with them, so that they can plot a way out. But I'm putting me knight's suit of armor on. I'm putting me defensive thing, and we're going into the shit. We're going into the trenches, and I'm going back with people. It's kind of like driven with them, where you sit with them and go, right, okay, I accept that we're in a crap spot. Right, let's get kitted up. It's where the old prison officer is coming out of me, that there's certain situations, whether you like it or not, that you've got to have a battle. And I've put on one of my videos earlier on, I'm one of the best allies that you can have when I'm in the right frame of mind. So there's a lot of inner healing work that I'm being forced to look at. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, but I feel that there'll be a lot of people that benefit. But there's something gone on in my mind, so something's left and something new stepped in, and I'm not aware of all of the ways that the energy works. So I'm just going with it, right? And what I'll find with this is people will either stick with me or they won't. It's kind of like natural selection, isn't it? You want to have all of the people around you that you've met, if they're all good for you, but some people just need to step their own path, and I find that difficult to let go. But I need to be that individual me. I need to step out, and as it was so eloquently put to me, stop being an effing show pony the other day. So somewhere in the middle of that is what is going to emerge, and what I want to do is bring this in line with my therapeutic side and my guides and things like that. But it's going to take some work, because I said this before, and it's going to sound strange. The other side of me that's the everyday, I don't always respect and I don't always like. So I'm trying to, like, it's like having two magnets that are slightly poles apart that we're trying to get them together. And it's going to take some work. So it's going to take some energy. Emma Louise Hope. Right. So we've got that. They really kick. Oh, God, they do. They do. New pathway unstructured. Absolutely, Shirley. Absolutely. Emma, thank you for that. I put a post on the other night, and I'm one of these, and this is honest. This is not macho bullshit or anything like that. This is just being perfectly honest. I don't feel that like social media is your personal diary. So I put a post on there asking for people to hold me in their healing space, because truthfully, what I'm going through, there's only going to be a couple of people, and I mean that are like really, really close, that I am going to feel, what's the right word? Because I don't want to upset anybody that's offering help, safe enough to open up that where I'm going with it. So all I ask for people is, when you put a lovely comment on there, is to just put me in your healing light, in your healing space, because truthfully, I don't want to talk about it at all, because it's hard and I don't know entirely how to deal with it all. So it's a difficult one, but I appreciate the thoughts there. But what I didn't want to come across as is like putting a load of shit on Facebook and going, inbox me home, because it fucking drives me up. It drives me up the wall. Right, guys, I'm coming to the end. I'll just do this last couple of cards, guys, and then we'll get off, because Mrs. P's downstairs. She's not gone to her exercise class tonight. She's not feeling particularly very good, and I do like to have my time with her. And normally what I do is, when she goes out, I come up here. But I've been on longer than I expected, because I didn't expect this many people on. So thank you very much. Right. Emma Louise Hook. Right. So without looking at the cards, because that's probably jumping all over the place, the sense is with you, what has just been said, right, your life will be easier if you actually, like my granddad used to say, put your foot down with a firm hand and made some direct decisions. There's a sense around you dithering around something about some decision. It's almost like, I want to say to you, you need a tower moment, and the tower, when it comes in, is tearing down old structures and old thought patterns and having a good clear out, right? But it's almost like, I want to say to you, you want that new start, but you want to start as you mean to go on. I just feel like energetically, I want to push you and just going, right, how long are you going to put up with circumstances and situations as they are? I really feel with you that it's like Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, where we're stood in that vortex moment where and you're not giving yourself enough time to recover and clear from energies from about 2 years ago there. So again, there's all sorts of stuff there that you need to get rid of, some emotional baggage, and you need to start trusting your decision-making process again. And I'm filling up here, and my throat's filling up. So I always feel like I also want to go and clear out all of this miscommunication. Right. I want to say this to you before I even turn the cards over. You don't owe anybody in this world anything, and that includes an explanation why you make decisions or anything like that. And the only debt that you owe anybody in this world is to yourself, and that is to be the best version of you that you can be. Right. So anybody that sits there in judgment of you, like that, to them, right? You will learn, you will make mistakes, you will thrive, and you will grow, because as long as you're either getting a better feeling from the way that you're acting and going on in life, or you're learning a lesson, you're on the right track. So don't let the buggers grind you down. So, all right, get some more rest, because the Nine of Swords is all about misery and despair. But like I said with that other card there, so we did the Eight of Swords, where we were trapped in our own thoughts and our own thinkings and our own imagining, and they weren't actually real. This is where we've not heeded the warning and we've carried on, and it's now that we're locked in the sadness, despair, anxiety, depression, whatever it is, and yet we're missing the greatest point in this card. Look, that in that corner, if I can just get that right under the camera there, that's it, there is an owl, and the owl always denotes wisdom for me. So what that is saying is just going, right, the problems that I've got around me, do I really need to worry about? Am I trying to design a pathway of destruction that I don't even want to go on? Right. Change tact. Get some rest. Tell one or two people to bugger off and mind the business, but start as you mean to go on. The melancholy lady is back again there. So that's just being lost in your own emotions a little bit. So we've got the queen there that is just saying, right, bringing in that feminine energy around it, that there's a nurturing element maybe needed. But I just feel like you need to mother yourself a little bit. The sense is like asking too many questions, but without consulting with your inner being. What's your gut telling you? What's your intuition telling you? My sense is to move on, move forward, but trust that you've got all of the skills and the talents to make that happen. Stop worrying about money, because the Four of Pentacles, we've got money, finances, riches, enrichment, non-material wealth, is saying there that even if we hold on too tight, eventually we're going to drop something. So this is to say to you that you've got to where you've got, whatever age you are, by utilizing and using all of the skills and talents that you've accrued over that time. So why should anything change? If you've got something to worry about, then deal with it directly. If you can't influence the outcome of it, stop bloody whittling about it. Go out there and live your life. Only have problems in your life when there's something there that you can directly influence. So I am one of these that is an overanalyst and an overthinker, and I go round and round in circles over things. And then at the end of the day, like, you'll get 6 months down the line and it'll all have been meaningless shit, because we live in a 98 and 2% world. 98% of what we dream up doesn't happen, and the 2% that does, we deal with it. So you are going to be safe. Right, guys, I'm just going to say thank you very, very much. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do this last one. In fact, no, I'll do two. I'll do these last two, and then I'm going to come off, because I am getting tired and I never want to sort of shortchange anybody. So Shirley, I will do your card. Helen Marie Richardson, if you're still on, please let me know, because as I say, I'm looking at coming off, because I am slowing down, I'll be honest. Is that okay? So if you can let me know, Helen, if you're still on, because that was 7 minutes ago when you posted that. Shirley, I'll read for you, because it's an absolute honor. Right. So I've got 3 cards for you. Well, I'm going to attempt something, Shirley, because you're on and you understand. I don't do any of this upside down, back to front thing. And I was listening to my great friend Fortune Cookies the other night that puts a lot of stock in how the cards come. So this 9 of Swords has come upside down, right? I have no prior training or no prior knowledge. So this is where I'm trusting the tarot gods and I'm trusting spirit to give you this, that this is upside down. Now, when you hold that upside down there, the swords are thoughts, the way that we're feeling, the way that we're processing information. The first thought that I got when I looked at that card is, she needs more rest as usual form, even though she's upside down, but her thoughts are causing her pain. She's almost like throwing herself on her sword, and she's not getting the respite that she needs. She's in some way or another, she's either self-sacrificing or self-sabotaging. Either way, I love you, my friend, and I want you to reverse whatever's going on with that. I know how strong you are, but like I've said to people countless amounts of times, we've all got Achilles heels. We've all got that thing where people can get underneath that armor. It does get to us. It does stop us. So you need to start communicating your true needs and wishes. You need to stop over analyzing. I know how blunt and direct you are with me, and I respect that. So I'm returning the compliment and returning the favor. You are one of the most independent thinkers that I think I've ever met in my life. But sometimes when you go inwards too much, it's like being on the merry-go-round. So stop giving away all of your energy so cheaply, and stop sacrificing your needs just so that somebody else can have peace, right? If there's something shit that's gone on around you that is not to your taste, stop holding back. Stop letting your thoughts be your boss. So stop throwing yourself on the sword. So that's my thing. And of course, we're on a 9 there, so it's towards that completion phase. So we're coming out of it anyway. 5 of Cups is that focusing on a loss or emotional loss. Now, we can include grieving in that, but I don't like to get too much into that, because I've said many, many times before that I believe that grieving is an entirely personal journey. And I know, without divulging any confidences, the losses that you've suffered over the last couple of years. However, emotionally, look at the focus there. They're looking at this on the bottom, which is, for me, is emotional upheaval and distress and all of that lot. But they need to also realize that there's other things that are maybe unseen from the current position, because we're just stuck in that round and round and roundabout moment, that there is potential upliftment heading your way. So you're a brilliant medium, and you know how much I admire your work. That orange is telling me that you need to get rid of some old shit, and also deal with what your intuition is telling you that at the moment your head is arguing with. So there's a battle going on between your intuition and what your thoughts are at the moment. Who's going to win the battle? Well, it's obviously the one that you feed the most. The King of Wands is taking charge of your practical life there, but in a more direct manner. So this is about making the changes that suit you. Again, I'm just feeling with you to tell you not to be sacrificing so much of your time. There's something there about as well. I want you to, it's something about a journey that I don't want you to travel as much, Shirley. I don't know what that means. Is I feel like that it's going to the well one too many times in some way or another. It's how it's going through my head is that there's sometimes where we have to face facts that no matter how much that we put into something, it's not going to give us what we're looking for. So there's talking to me about the travel aspect of it. Stop traveling so much. Stop having that much momentum in that direction, but just use your loaf. I'm not going to try and advise you on that, because it's all coming through a little bit garbled there. So let me just go where I said I would go. Just see where I am. Sorry, guys. Everybody that's come on after this is my last reading. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm run out of steam. I did not expect to be on nearly 2 hours. This is possibly the longest one of these that I've done, but I've had the time to do it, and I've given my utmost. I mean, the thing is, I do readings online. If you want a paid reading, they're £35 done in this sort of way with cards and all of the rest of it. And I can be contacted on my email address, which I will leave in the descriptions there. And I will be on again at some point. But you have to be disciplined and know when enough's enough. Right. So for you, Helen, if you're still there, I'm just going to draw you the 3 present cards now for the Angel Oracle cards. So I've got isolation, I have got courage, and I have got endings. So what these cards are telling me, and you construct them in any way that you want, it's now time to come out of that space. So when I see this card and I give it as a one-off card, how I tend to feel it is like life, you can be quite colourful, quite uplifted, quite vibrant, and then something knocks you and you go, right, I need time to contemplate this. I need time to work out how this is going to play out. And I'm not quite sure what I want to do. So I'm going to go and ground myself. I'm going to take myself away. I'm going to hide away. Imagine going down a motorway and you suddenly feel tired and you want to pull off into the lay-by. So you go in there because you're protecting yourself. You're tired, you run down and you're taking a break. But you've still got whatever you need to do that's on the motorway. You've still got a destination to get to. The problem becomes where you get comfortable in your surroundings, where there's problems there, there's difficulties, there's pain, but you're used to it. but your destination that is further on is the one that you need to get to. So this is talking about getting past. So we need to come out of that isolation period now, that comfort zone, come out of that place of safety and get back on into full steam again, get back out onto that motorway. I've got a gentleman's energy around you that's coming in that is just, I feel like he was around when you was a child, because he's scooping you up in your arms. It's like, I'm feeling like he's leading you around the dance floor in a way. It's really nice as he comes in, and like there's a connection that I feel that he's telling me, because he's showing me you in a wedding dress. Now I don't know if you've recently got married or what, but they're showing a memory link with you in a wedding dress, and there's just somebody leading you around with this in this dance. But I'm going back right to childhood, so I don't know whether he's telling me that he's been gone a long time, or whether he's telling me that he was at your wedding. But he's bringing in a lot of love and a lot of support, and some way or another holding you while you deal with whatever's going on. The message is, whatever's going on, it's time to put your big girl pants on and have the courage to chop through any of these thoughts that are isolating you or keeping you flat. Blue is all about communication. The swords are about the thoughts and the air. So again, cutting through the illusion and making those changes. And quite simply with this card, it's actually coming to terms with it. So when I see the swords just uncrossing, this is telling me that you are going to make these bold decisions, but we've just got to come out of that deadlock situation. So it's applying your energy to stuff now that's worthy of your time. So on that, guys, I'm going to say thank you very much for everybody that's tuned in. There's been loads of you, far too many to thank individually. Thank you so much for all of the amazing support. Thank you, Rainbow. Appreciate that. I will pass that on. Yeah, thank you. And what you do is amazing. Right, thank you for that. So I'll highlight that, because it's lovely. I'm a man of honesty, right, and that's what I will always be. It won't matter if you give me £1 million, I would still be me. The love I have for humankind and helping them is what gets me up in the morning, what drives me forward, in the hope that people don't have to deal with what I do mentally. This is an incredible gift, and I know it sounds a bit trite as you're finishing off, but really live every day like it's your last, because you just don't know. Don't I've got this catchphrase that I'm just putting into all of my videos. Don't sweat the small stuff. Keep shining, because tomorrow is another opportunity to make those changes that you'd like to make in your life. And essentially, we shift all of the fog and all of the crap. Only you is going to make that difference. So if you've liked everything that I've done, please consider going over to YouTube and liking and subscribing. If you hadn't liked it and you thought it was crap, keep your bloody gob shut. So thank you for that. I really appreciate your time, guys. And I'm going to say good night. Thank you.